Hello, my name is Cynthia. Welcome to my FlossTube video. This is monthly update number 8. It's the end of September. If you love to talk about beautiful needlework and see examples, and most importantly be inspired to create your own beautiful needlework and handwork, then you're in the right place. I so appreciate you joining me today, and if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. I am actually celebrating a milestone today with 1,000 subscribers, so thank you again. And if you haven't subscribed, I would so appreciate it if you would consider that and like this video. It helps my channel out a lot. I had a couple of finishes that I wanted to show. One of them is not cross stitch, actually several of them. You can see them behind a little bit, but I wanted to share them as well because they're available on Etsy and they were super cute and simple to make. My first one though I showed you last month is by Barbour Anna, and it is the Sweeping the Garden mouse. I haven't fully loved this finish. In fact, it's not completely tacked in because I'm still thinking on it, but this was my first round finish. I listened to I watched a tutorial by Cindy with cross stitching with Cindy, is that her name? I'll link it down below. It was really helpful as to how to finish a round ornament, I think is what she was using, but I had the same principles in place, and so I was able to pin it and then sew in a circle and gather it and tie it, and it was really simple. I had never done it before, but I just used foam core, and of course it has a magnet on the back because this was my 4th of July piece that I did back in July. This is just a pizza box on the back, nothing fancy, and like I said, I'm not fully sold on this finish, but I do think it's cute for now, and it'll be just fine. The fringe around it, or the ball fringe around it, I dyed myself from a piece of white ball fringe from Joann's, and I just dipped it in RIT dye and then some coffee, so it kind of looks prim. And that's only about 75 cents a yard, so it was really affordable. The other fabric is just a fat quarter from Joann's as well, and kind of a mustardy yellow. It almost ended up looking like a flower, which I thought was appropriate since this is a garden piece for fall. So that was my FFO, and my finish was from last month. The other FFO I wanted to show you has lots of friends behind me. You can see their little eyes peeking out. I made 12 of these for a craft fair that's coming up at our church. I hope to put a booth together with jack-o'-lanterns and cats and candy corn, and also some Christmas things with gingerbread men and candy canes. So you'll have to check Instagram to see the rest of those finishes if you're interested, and I might consider selling them on Instagram later if I have any left. So these guys were super cute from Peach Bottom Primitives. I'd already mentioned them in the past with my pigs. I am making more of those pigs. In fact, I have one of them right in front of me. These guys sit on my kitchen table. So I'm making more of these guys, also by Denise, the same artist, and I'll link her Etsy shop below. But this was just a couple dollars, and like I said, super simple and easy. There are stitches there on his mouth and eyes and the buttons, and then the rest is just sewn with a sewing machine up the side and stuffed. And she has some special recipes in the pattern that I would encourage you to look at, because I hadn't ever finished that way before with coffee. She has a really good ratio of how to make the stain. This one wasn't stained as heavily as some of the other ones, but I did finish him, and he was so cute. So I have 11 of his friends behind in a little metal trough, and I'll insert a video of that as well. the finish that I did have was not actually fully done because this is a 12-part piece by Lizzie Kate called Christmas Rules. I was able to do the 2 blocks that I hoped for in the month of September. I had a sort of change of plans because of health. I know I was pretty ill in my last video with a bad cold, which actually ended up being onset of asthma. And so my hands have been shaking a lot with, I had to do a round of steroids and lots of albuterol, so I needed to stick with even weave and aida. And unfortunately, my new samplers were on 40 count. And for the first part of the month, I just really wasn't able to do that. But I was able to still stitch, so I was grateful for that. But this was super fun and easy. Just a couple of blocks further along to a finish. And I also finished the top. Here is the last 2, listen for reindeer and hang mistletoe. And on the very bottom, I did a specialty stitch. Instead of just 8 blocks of cross stitches, I thought that would be a perfect opportunity to do a triple cross stitch. I don't think I did it the normal way, but it looks pretty. So I have a small clip, and here's the top. I did finish finally all those rows. And I stitched that top back in August when I had been a stitcher for, let's see, I got this for my birthday last year in 2018. So I'd been stitching for about 6 weeks. And you can tell the top and the snowflakes are kind of wonky, kind of wabi-sabi, as Teresa says. But I left it that way because it's a kind of record of my journey as a stitcher. So it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. And it is turning out to be so beautiful, I think. Just really like it. My kids like it a lot too. I think it's one they'll want to hang on to. So I will post the video of my triple cross stitch that I adapted from a Victoria sampler farm that I've worked on. I have kind of a doodle rag where I was practicing the stitches, and that one came to mind when I saw that row of X's as something that would be actually easier and quicker than making all the little X's. So I'll insert that here. So that was it for my finishes. I'm popping back in the middle of the video after I've already filmed the beginning to show a previous finish. I forget that it's been a year now, past a year, so I have a few things. This was my 3rd finish after the Dimensions kit and the little freebie from Snowflower Diaries. This was a drawn thread piece, probably more than I should have taken on, but I didn't know better. And I think it turned out really cute. It's on Monaco that I tea and coffee dyed myself. And the ghost doesn't show up super well, but he's in there, and the L. And the candy corn is so cute. And there's specialty stitches. I did not know how to make bat wings. And so my bat on the side is really sad, but that's okay. As I said, this is a record of my journey as a stitcher. So I finished that little Halloween piece, and I'll try to link that chart below. I know it's still available. It comes with a couple of accompanying pieces like a scissor fob and another little one that says October 31. And I think it's super cute. I put a bow at the top with a twine flower that looks a little smushed. I just pulled it out and didn't realize. And this was the tray that I had my leggy swimmer on. So I was able to just put some new chalk markings on that. It says Boo at the bottom, and I think it is really cute. I also have a black cat from my Lori Mitchell designs that I display next to this. So that was just a previous finish that I almost forgot I wanted to share. I did want to show you the other piece that I was able to work on at the beginning of the month when my hands were not cooperating with finer count linen. This is Little House Needleworks Autumn ABCs. I know a lot of people have finished this recently. It's just such a cute stitch. And I did do it on 16 count Aida, which is available pretty affordably at Hobby Lobby. And I dyed it pretty dark with some instant coffee. I don't think I used red on this. I think it was mostly instant coffee. But I did have some hand-dyed flosses on there that I made myself. The sunflowers didn't show up. The charted color, the charted DMC didn't show up, so I used variegated yellow that I had done myself. I also put some long stitches on the outside of his patches. They weren't called for on the pattern, but if you recall, I had my Oz scarecrow finished a couple months ago, or was that last month? That may have been last month. And it had the long stitches that I thought looked so cute, like straw. So I repeated that. That's one of the fun things about doing different designers. You learn something from everybody. And then this alphabet is a little variegated because I didn't like my first letters. I didn't think they were quite dark enough. So I kind of tweeted a darker thread in until the very top where it's going to stay dark. So it kind of fades down as you go. And the threads for the pumpkins were Gentle Arts Pumpkin Pie and Weeks Cinnamon Twist. They weren't called for, but it's just something I had in my stash. And then that darker kind of burgundy color, I dyed that floss myself. It's going to be on the barn at the top, but I have every intention of finishing this in the next week or so. I had hoped to have it finished today, but it is a little bit of stitching, especially that quilt and some of those leaves. I just really like it. I think it's super cute. And I did find that blue corn thread from Fancy Stitches and Cleaver, and I was looking for that. It was all out of stock online, but I found it and was really happy that I waited for it. It turned out really pretty. So that is Little House Needleworks Autumn ABCs, a whip that will hopefully soon be finished. And I will transition into my sampler work for Sampler September when I got to feeling better. I pulled out Sarah Woodham again by Shakespeare's Peddler, 1770. And I hope to get almost all of the work done on this year and then put a date on it for 2020. So it'll be 250 years after Sarah stitched it. And I worked on the border some more. I filled in all the butterfly and a lot of the honeysuckle. Started on the bird. And it is close to a page finish if I get the bottom part here and then starting just a little corner here. So this is basically a page, and actually I think it's over to this direction here. That's a page. So filling in that and then starting the border of the verse, which is in eyelet stitches. And I haven't done those a whole lot, so I was excited. It's just right above the bird's head that you start the border of the verse. And I think I'll do some of that as I go so that I don't get bogged down with that specialty stitch. But she's so pretty. This is Picture This Plus Sand. It's not the called for linen, but I liked the deeper modeling on this one. And it's by Picture This Plus. So that one I was able to do. 36 was not too bad. The 40 count is more what gave me issues. I also put a lot of work into Birds of a Feather. That's our bbdbirdsal with my friends Kim and Becky. And I really wanted to finish this month, but like I said, God laughs when we plan, right? It's not always up to us. This was, I think, just a part of the bird. So I started the second bird and that other flower there. And I did a few motifs. And without thinking, this is one of the ways I reveal myself as a rookie or a beginner stitcher. I did these threads. I thought, oh, it's 32 count. I'll do 2 over 2. I just didn't even think about it. Even though I did 1 over 2 on my Brenda Gervais piece I showed you last month. This one, for whatever reason, I started 2 over 2. And by the time I finished the vase and realized it, and then even got into the bird, I thought, I probably should have been doing this 1 over 2. You can tell the difference on that motif there, I did that one 1/2, the one that comes off of the bottom of the branch here. It is 1/2, and then the bird is 2/2. So it's another way to personalize it. Mine's not going to look like other people's, but that's okay. And I also put a little bit of an incentive to finish this by finding a friend that really wanted this chart on Instagram. So I told her I would be passing it to her, and I want to do that sooner rather than later. It's something that I look forward to gifting. So even though this is out of print, it's probably still something you might could find or hunt down in a LNS. So that was progress, not as much as I wanted. I did have, other than just a few little leaves, a page finish though on Mahala Barber. I also filmed, it's by Fox and Rabbit Designs, and they're out of Australia, but this was an English piece. I also filmed a Stitch With Me with this piece that was very well received. Thank you very much for your kind comments. I went out on a limb because I've never seen anyone do a stitch and pray, and it was something that had just been in my mind as to something that I would like to see. I have shared many times that I pray in the morning with my Hawker and Hollow piece, or with another piece, not always Hawker and Hollow, but I try to spend 30 minutes, and several people have done that too, of just quiet contemplation. And it would be nice sometimes. I had thought that it would be something that I would want to watch if there was quiet music playing while someone prayed. And I don't have eloquent words sometimes with my prayers. I kind of can get flustered, so I decided to just read scripture. And in my Bible study at church, we're talking about perseverance, and it fit that I would go ahead and read scriptures about that. Sewing has so much to do with perseverance, I feel, as far as, you know, not quitting, not giving up, even when it gets a little bit tiring or a little bit difficult, just to keep plugging away and not to give up. So I use those scriptures to hopefully encourage you, but also to encourage me that it is hard sometimes. And this asthma diagnosis has really thrown me for a loop, but it's hard to keep going through trials, but it is worth it. And it is the hope that we have that God is with us and that He cares. And it is a comfort too that y'all care. That's the community that this hobby has developed around it. Such a kind and caring thing that we care for one another, and we can support each other and encourage each other. And y'all have been that to me. I thank you so much for that. But Mahala Barber is a beautiful piece. She is on some hand-dyed fabric that I darkened up, an Edinburgh. I was going to say Edinburgh. 36 count base by Zweigart, and I have it on a fat half. I don't think it's going to be that big. The pages aren't huge as I stitched through, and I think there's 34 for this sampler, but each page is not so bad. So I want to kind of keep going up. I've marked my chart so that I'm not following the order they put it in. I'm just going to go up the left-hand side and see how high it gets. A lot of the pieces on the next page are just a vining leaf, and there's a big urn that's going to be over here, and then Adam and Eve. It is just a really pretty piece, as I suspected. And it's not a lot of colors so far, but I did get to use that red, that pomegranate by Gast. One of the things that appealed to me was that red. So really happy with that page finish, or that almost page finish. I think I'm missing one leaf right here. So close enough. I finished that flower last night. And then, yeah, there's some fill in here. Fill in here, and then one more leaf. So pretty cool. And then I had one more sampler I wanted to talk about, and then I have some exciting news for a giveaway at the end. So please stay tuned. Y'all helped me pick the giveaway by a vote on Instagram about maybe 5 weeks ago. So I'm excited to show that. The last piece I worked on, however, also revealed my beginner status. Luz Gonzalez, 1851, is a beautiful piece, and it's not impossible, but I have actually been studying some of what Jan Hicks has done on this piece, and she admitted that the charting was difficult to follow. It doesn't seem like, I counted and counted, it doesn't seem like the lines on the embroidery work here add up to a symmetrical design. I'll show you what this is supposed to look like. I was able to use the blown up picture though. She does have very good diagrams. I was able to use the blown up picture to make it symmetrical, but I had to pull out everything I did the first time because it did not line up there at the bottom. And it isn't a difficult stitch to do that satin stitch, it's just the counting that was giving me a pause. So what I think I'm going to do with this is put it to the back of the line. I will continue it. I might come back to some of the cross stitching so that I can have a little more progress, and then piece my way back to this top band that is a little bit tricky. But I do feel like when you stitch these reproductions, when you work on the girl's piece or the lady, I don't know if she was a young, oh, there's a card. I don't know if she's a young lady or a woman, but the bond you feel with what they were doing was, it was funny. I was like, oh, Luz, you ran out of room. You needed to scoot that over, did you? Because they charted it exactly like she did it, and it wasn't perfect. Also, a reminder to me that it's okay to not be perfect. It's still very beautiful, and every stitch doesn't have to be perfect. So I think that can be the enemy to creativity. Sometimes the need to be perfect can keep us from finishing things. So that is a lesson I'm learning from Luz, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to stitch in September. Just the fact that I was well enough to sleep through the night, whereas before I was exhausted, and also that I was able to complete what I did. I have some pictures I'm going to insert of my Quaker. I got a very small start on that, and I will have to come back to it because I do enjoy it very much. And then I got a very small start on Susan Rambo. So I will insert some pictures there of my progress, and those were on 40 counts, so my progress was not very big. And then I'll come back and show you the giveaway. I'm actually going to show you the giveaway that was from last month's video from my birthday on August 31st. I announced that I would be having my daughter, I would commission a fob from her that had a skull bead, and then I also found these pumpkin jack-o'-lantern beads at Michael's with a big toggle at the top. So I thought she did such a good job. I didn't give her any parameters. I just gave her those pumpkins and asked her to do what she would. And she came up with this as a gift. So I did a random number generator, and I'll insert that number here. I had 13 interested viewers, and the winner was Trish Snipes. Trish, I will comment on your comment, reply to your comment again. I already have once, but I'll reply again that you are the winner of this fob by my daughter, Sophia, my 14-year-old daughter. And I asked what your favorite Halloween charts were. I got a lot of pretty charts to look at, and Trish said her favorite was Olga's Tart by Plum Street, and that is really cute. I hope to do that one someday. I haven't done a tart yet, but she will be receiving this, and if you would give me your address, Trish, I will send that on its way. So I will go ahead and talk about the giveaway for Sampler September. And as a celebration of my channel reaching 1,000 subscribers, I asked on Instagram between 4 samplers what your choice would be for if you were going to win a pattern, which one would you like? And I had an overwhelming response for this chart. I'm not going to take it out of the plastic because it's sealed all the way around, and I want the winner to receive this in pristine shape. So this is Elizabeth Page. It has a red house on it, and they thought because of the homespun or the rough linen that it was stitched on that it might have been from New York. So it may have been an American sampler. They're not positive, but I'm sure the Scarlet Letter knows a lot more about that kind of thing than I do. It also has a lot of really funky animals at the bottom, like some trumpeting swans and a boat, and there's a lot going on. I'll insert a picture of this piece for you to consider if it's something you'd like to stitch so that you can see the detail better. And if you feel like this would be something that you would want to stitch, it does have some specialty stitches. They're not difficult, however. That looks like a flower star, a little bit of long arm cross stitch. I don't know if they call it elongated if it's broadwise or if it's stretched, but a little bit of a wider stitch and then some half stitches. So I picked one purposefully that was listed as a beginner because some of the ones on the Scarlet Letter site are listed as advanced or intermediate. So this said beginner, even though it's big. I think it said beginner to intermediate because of the size. It's a big girl. But the shipping to Scarlet Letter was a little bit more, so I thought it might be nice for someone to be able to stitch one of these without having to pay that shipping. I also got, at the same time, just real quick, I'll share this Hannah Katarina. I've shown her before, and I'll insert a picture at the end of her as well because that was my birthday gift. And while I ordered to Scarlet Letter, you know, no chart can travel alone, I got one for y'all. So as a celebration of 1,000 subscribers, and for all of the joy that you have given me in this channel, the encouragement and the friendship, I want to give this back. If you would be interested in stitching Elizabeth Page from 1804, that is a big red house, I think that's why everybody liked it, then please comment below with the name of your favorite sampler. It doesn't have to be one that you've stitched or even one that you own, but just let us know your favorite sampler. And it doesn't have to be an antique reproduction sampler, just any sampler. And I will choose a winner from my comments at the end of October. So kind of as a Halloween gift. I look forward to giving this away. I'm very happy to share the chart with one of you. So let me know in the comments if you would be interested in stitching this, and just let me know your favorite sampler. So I'm excited to share that, excited to give that away. And I wanted to end with some plans really quickly. I have an announcement of some upcoming retreats, one that I will be attending and bringing back or sharing with you the experience with Teresa Vinette at the Silver Needle in November. I signed up in the summer, and for some reason I don't like to talk about things too much until they happen because I'm afraid that I'll be so disappointed if something goes awry. So I try to kind of hold my cards close to my chest, but I had signed up, I think back in June or July, to go to the Silver Needle, and I did get a spot with Teresa in a sampler class. She shared in her Sampler September video number 2 the chart that we will be receiving as part of the class, and I'll insert a picture of that here. And she also will be just I think, teaching us about evaluating samplers and purchasing antique samplers and just spending a day and an evening with us in Tulsa. I'll be able to stay with my brother there. He's a physician in town, and so I won't have to pay for a hotel. I was able to go, and I was really excited. And I also have an announcement for a group on Facebook that contacted me asking me to help with the retreat for Texas stitchers. And I have a slide that they have on Facebook to show the details if you want to do a screenshot. And I'll also link the website down below. But there is a retreat coming in Grapevine, Texas on April 4th and 5th called Stitching Texas 2020. And it is just $50. I think they're going to have prizes and exchanges and all of that fun stuff at a really nice hotel in Grapevine. And like I said, that is open for registration now. It's $50. And if you live in Texas or Oklahoma, any of the surrounding areas where you could come, I would love to have a chance to meet you. And like I said, I haven't 100% committed yet because it is a long ways away, but I fully intend to go and to be one of the helpers. So if you are interested in that, then click the link below. And for October, I will be stitching more on my samplers. I hope to make a lot of progress on my Blackbird sal. I have some gifts I want to stitch up to accompany the sal and send out to Becky and Kim, and then also to send the chart to Bobby. So I have some incentive to finish that. And then I'm back to my Barbara Anna Creatures Great and Small, All Creatures Great and Small, and my Hawkrun Hollow. And those will be my focus pieces. I have some Christmas I want to start. I'm always off season when it comes to finishes, so my intention is to really plug away at a couple of Christmas pieces through October and November, and then hopefully have those ready to decorate my home. I also wanted to insert a quick video, probably about 5 minutes, that shows my front room decorated with some new cross stitch, or not new cross stitch, but I put my grandmother's cross stitch in a new place, and I wanted to showcase that. And then also just a couple of things that I've decorated for fall. I got a painting from a real artist that my mom passed along, and my grandma had gotten that at a starving artist sale. It's really pretty, and I'll show you my mantle for that. And then I have a couple of cross stitch pieces, no, just one cross stitch piece in my window. I think I covered everything that I hope to. Again, I thank you for spending time with me as I talk about my stitching and as I share my life with you. I hope that you are doing well, that you are stitching what you want, and that you are persevering and not giving up. And as I usually end the videos, chapter 90 of Psalm verse 17 says, "May the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands." Have a great October.